Today we're going to be comparing the Apple Watch Series 9 in aluminum versus the Apple Watch Series 9 in stainless steel to see whether the price difference is worth it. Now, I've been using an Apple Watch ever since the Series 3 and I've always opted to go for the aluminum version, primarily because of the price difference, but I've been using the stainless steel Apple Watch for just about a week now and I've got to say I like it more than I thought I would. Let's compare and explore the differences as well as the similarities to ultimately see which version is best. And as always, I will leave all the purchase links down in the description. Right, so to put this comparison into context, let's start by comparing the price. So I have the 41mm version of each model here, and the aluminum version of the Apple Watch Series 9 comes in at $399 or £399, compared to the stainless steel version, which comes in at $699 or £699. In fact, is that right? I've got to check my notes here to make sure that is correct, and yes, that is correct. So the question is, for nearly double the price at $699, what does the stainless steel watch get you? Well, first and foremost, the stainless steel model, of course, gives you that steel watch case. And you can see it comes in this really nice polished finish. It comes in 3 colors. We have silver, gold, as well as graphite. Now, I have the silver version here today. This is the one that I think looks best. And it looks really nice in this polished finish. Definitely very different when compared to the matte finish of the aluminum Apple Watch. So this also comes in various colors. Here I have the midnight version. And comparing the two, the look and also the feel of the watches are very different. I will say that the more polished finish of the stainless steel watch definitely more closely resembles that of a traditional watch, and I think looks more classy and is perhaps better suited for more formal occasions compared to the aluminum model. I would say the stainless steel model will look really great with a leather band or even a fine woven band. Now you can see that for this video, I went with the sports band, and that is because the stainless steel watch is already over budget. By the way, did I ask you to please leave a like and subscribe to support the channel? Thank you so much. But all in all, in terms of the look and feel, there is no doubt in my mind that the stainless steel version definitely looks more high-end, more classy, as opposed to the more sporty and more casual look of the aluminum Apple Watch. Another thing to note is that the stainless steel model with its shiny texture definitely attracts more light and also more attention. So it's definitely a little bit more showy as opposed to the more subtle and low-key look of the aluminum version. Now, which you'll prefer here will depend on your style. Let's talk about the weight, as this is another area where these two watches really differ. So comparing just the watch cases, the stainless steel model will come in at 42.3 grams, and this is compared to the 31.9 grams of the aluminum watch. So this is to say that the stainless steel version is just under 30% heavier than the aluminum version. And I will say that handling the two watches, wearing them on your wrist, you do feel this difference. Myself, I do prefer the more dense feel of the stainless steel model. It just feels a little bit more substantial on the wrist and, dare I say, more like jewelry. However, there's also a case to be made for the lighter aluminum version, which I think for sports or even for sleep tracking will be even more comfortable, as you're going to notice it less on your wrist. But still, more broadly speaking, I would say both watches are very light when compared to a traditional watch. The difference in case materials do not just reflect the different designs and look of the watches, as well as the weight, but also the durability. So the stainless steel version will be more durable, as of course stainless steel is a harder metal than aluminum, and this means that the stainless steel watch is likely to hold up better to major impacts. So think, for example, things like dents or bends. These kind of things are much less likely to occur on the steel version as opposed to the aluminum version. At the same time though, the highly polished finish of the stainless steel model will be more prone to showing hairline or micro scratches, but I've used this for a week and I have zero. I also have friends who've used their steel watches for years, and even on those, they are very hard to see these very fine scratches. And if you do end up going for the silver model like I have here, you can theoretically polish these out over time, unlike, for example, the gold or graphite color, as the silver color will be the natural color of that stainless steel. So yes, if you are worried about your watch scratching over time, definitely go for the steel version, as your scratches are going to show up less and they will be polishable over time. That said, it's not that the aluminum Apple Watch is not durable. As you know, I've used aluminum for all my years wearing a Apple Watch and I've never had any major issues, only the occasional scratches, a slight chip or dents, and this particularly happens around the corner of the watch from banging it into a wall. Don't ask me how I do this, I don't know either, but this will occur much less likely on the stainless steel, again thanks to having a harder metal when compared to the aluminum. Aside from the watch case, another big difference between the two models is the glass used to cover the display. So the aluminum version has Apple's Ion X front glass, where the stainless steel version has a sapphire front crystal. In other words, glass versus sapphire. So what does this mean? Well, the sapphire on the stainless steel is much more durable when it comes to scratches, and this I think is a pretty big deal. If you've seen any of my previous Apple Watch videos, you will know that I often criticize the weakness of the glass that is on the aluminum sports models, as they are very prone to scratching over time. Now, can you use a screen protector? Yes, you can. In fact, I have done a whole video on this, which I'll leave linked in the description, comparing different options and which is best. But in my opinion, you shouldn't need a screen protector for a $400 watch. And thankfully, if you choose to go for the stainless steel model, you really don't need a screen protector. I've used this watch for a week and I have zero signs of wear on my display. And I've actually used an Apple Watch Ultra for many months, and that too has a sapphire display, same as on the stainless steel model, and that also has zero scratches. So all in all, from a durability perspective, the stainless steel model has a big advantage. From the steel case to the sapphire display, this means that over the years, especially 3, even 4 years from now of daily use, chances are the stainless steel model is going to look better and hold up better when compared to the aluminum model. Interestingly, when comparing these two watches and switching between them over the past week, another small but unexpected difference I found was in the haptics. So I found that the haptics on the stainless steel model were a little bit less prominent than that of the aluminum model. And I suspect this is due to the fact that the steel model is of course heavier, and therefore the haptics won't translate or carry through as much as they do on the lighter aluminum model. Now, I'm not missing notifications on the steel model at all, but this difference is noteworthy, and I would try to put it, if I had to quantify it, to say a 10 to 15% difference in terms of the strength of the haptic. So that is a point for the aluminum watch. Next, let's talk about connectivity. So the aluminum Apple Watch can be bought in 2 versions. You can have the GPS version, which I have, or the GPS plus cellular version, which will also give you mobile data access on your Apple Watch, where by comparison, the stainless steel model always comes with GPS plus cellular. So you can't buy a GPS only version. Now, this perhaps justifies the price just a little bit more, at least knowing that you do get the cellular option regardless of which stainless steel model you buy. But the question is though, do you need the cellular option? Well, this really depends on your lifestyle. I think you only need the cellular Apple Watch if you often find yourself leaving your home, say, without your phone. For example, if you're going on runs, or maybe you remotely travel often, as this means that you can use things like your Apple Maps, send text, or even make calls from your watch independently of your phone. But a common misconception is that even on the GPS-only version of the Apple Watch, you're still able to use Apple Maps to make calls and send text. The only difference is that you just need your phone in your pocket, but you still retain all the same functionality. Plus, another important thing to bear in mind is that depending on your data plan and your region, often if you do choose to go for the cellular Apple Watch and if you want data on that Apple Watch, you will need to pay a small but extra monthly cost for your plan to get data on the watch. So this is something to bear in mind. Now, one thing I do want to clear up to make sure there's no confusion, that if you do want to go for the cellular version, you can of course also buy the aluminum watch with cellular. You don't need to buy the steel watch. The difference is though that on the stainless steel model, all models will automatically have cellular capabilities too. So those are the biggest differences between the aluminum model and the steel model. And before we compare and see which one is ultimately best value, let's take a look at the similarities between these two watches, as this I think is a really important thing to remember. And of course, the biggest similarity that these two have in common is that, well, they are both Apple Watch Series 9s. And this means you get ultimately the same core functionality. And you get what is, in my opinion, the best smartwatch money can buy if you have an iPhone. As you know, I've used an Apple Watch for years, and I love using my Apple Watch every day. I've actually done a whole video talking about my favorite features and why I think you should try an Apple Watch too. But just to quickly recap, the main reasons that I use my watch are for things like notifications. Seeing these throughout the day is great. Quick access to Siri, using maps while on the go, and filling up those activity rings to encourage me to get some exercise throughout each day. And the point is that all these features I just described, you can do just as well on the aluminum version as on the stainless steel version. Plus, you also get the exact same functionality when it comes to the watch app, customizing the watch faces, how your watch interacts with your phone. This too is all the same. Another area that is completely identical is the display. So not the glass covering the display, but rather the display that sits underneath. So you get the same brightness, the same sharpness and color. You also get always on displays for both these models, as again, these are both Series 9 Apple Watches. You only lose the always on display when you go down to the more affordable Apple Watch SE 2. Battery life too is the same. For me, these Apple Watches can last all day, and I've actually done an extensive Apple Watch guide, which will help you maximize your watch's battery life while still not giving up those core smart features. So I'll be sure to leave that video linked in the description as well. But the point is, if you optimize it well enough, both watches will last you all day. Quick note, if you are looking for true 2-day battery life, I suggest exploring the Apple Watch Ultra, but fair warning, it is even more expensive than the stainless steel model. You also get the exact same band compatibility. The mechanism is the same, so you can move any band from any watch over. And this is one of my favorite features of the Apple Watch. It's just how far you can customize it. Now, of course, the difference in look when it comes to the case will mean that I think more formal bands are best suited for the stainless steel model, and that on the aluminum model, more sporty bands like this sports band here will look best. That said, though, I do actually think the rubber band on my stainless steel model looks pretty good too. To recap, the three major differences between the stainless steel model and the aluminum model are in the watch case designs, in the display glass used, as well as the connectivity. So the question is, which should you go for, the stainless steel version or the aluminum version? Now, at first I wrote off the stainless steel version primarily for the price and knowing how much it has in common with the aluminum version, primarily all the key Apple Watch features. They are the same across both models, and you can get the aluminum version for nearly half the price of that of the stainless steel version. But I must say, I do appreciate the more luxurious and more premium feel of the stainless steel version more than I thought I would. Plus, the extra durability, both in the watch case as well as in the display, are worth something too, especially when you think about the long run, where I have no doubt that the stainless steel version will look better and hold up better over time. I prefer the stainless steel version overall, but of course price has to be considered too. And would I spend the large amount of extra money for the steel model? Well, put it this way, if I didn't run a tech YouTube channel and didn't need it for this specific video, I would say no, and ultimately choose the much better value aluminum version of the Series 9. As for whether you should spend the extra and get the steel model or save a bit of cash and go for the aluminum model will come down to personal preference. But after using both these models for the past week, here is how I see it. Again, if you are looking for best value, I would go for the aluminum Apple Watch and more specifically the GPS only version. I also think if you're primarily going to use your watch for working out and tracking sports, the lighter aluminum design will be great to have too. On the other hand, if you are looking for a more luxurious, more premium feel and a watch that is better suited for those formal occasions, then the stainless steel model will be an excellent choice. Not to mention the additional long-term durability that these materials bring you, albeit at a price. Let me know in the comments, which Apple Watch are you going to be going for? I'll leave the purchase links to both of these down below, and if you haven't seen them yet, I highly recommend checking out my Apple Watch First Things to Do video to maximize your watch's features as well as performance. And I've also done a size comparison, comparing the 41mm version versus the 45mm version to help you choose which size is right for you. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.